Hey guys, so I just did a video on this look. I asked you guys if you wanted to see it recreated and finished and filmed. You all said yes, so I decided to record it and post it on YouTube. First video ever. I'd appreciate it if you like and subscribe and comment down below what you think. I hope you guys like it. I did my brows off camera and we're just gonna jump right into it. So I start off by cleaning my brows, and I usually carry the concealer onto my lid to prime my eyes, but today I'm actually going to be going in with the lighter concealer after I clean up my brows because the pigments will stand out a lot more when you use a lighter base. So I'm going to be using this e.l.f. concealer to clean up my brows. So I literally just start by underlining the brows with the concealer. And I don't get too close because I try not to get it on the brow. But then I get a brush. It doesn't matter what brush, just make sure that it's skinny enough to be precise. So I'm going to be using this one today. And I literally just go right under the brow. And what this does is it gives it a cleaner look, and it also makes the brow sharper. And then I do the same on the other side. It's also going to lift the brow bone. A dense brush to blend it out. That way it's not super cakey. So I just go back and forth really softly and make sure that there's no patchiness. Make sure that everything's pretty much just smoothed out. You want to try to keep the concealer from growing in your brows. That way it doesn't look like you have any bald spots over what you filled in. Concealer, I'm going to be using the Infallible because it is full coverage and this is the lightest shade that I do have, but just dot on a little bit because this concealer does go a long way. And then I'm going to use a small beauty blender just to blend everything out. Make sure that there's no creasing. A dense brush. This one's just a random brush from an Urban Decay palette, but I'm going to be starting off with the purple shade in the Zulu palette. I'm going to be taking it on the outer corner and I'm going to be creating that V shape. And right now I'm just focusing on packing the color onto the lid. So I'm not really worried about blending it just yet. And we're going to have something like that. I'm going to be taking the Festival palette and I'm going to be going into the red over here, and we're going to pack that on the same way we did the purple, but we're going to go actually next to the purple. We're not going to go in the V. Again, we're not focusing on blending, just packing. Okay, so now that we have the purple and the red shade on, we're going to go back to the Zulu palette and we're going to go into this orange right here. And then again, the same thing, just pack it. And then after that, we're going to be using this yellow shade. Okay. Can we just talk about how pigmented these shades are? Because it blows my mind, honestly. So I had to re-record this step, but I basically just put the yellow right here the same way I did with the rest of them. I'm not going to pronounce it because I don't want to butcher it and I don't want you coming for me. But I'm going to take this shade right here and I'm going to use that to blend all the shades on the very top. That way everything just looks seamless, and I'm just going over these edges to kind of make them look more diffused. You packed on that purple shade, like reapplied it. It should look something like this. Then we're gonna go back in with the red, and then the orange, yellow, so on and so forth. When I get up here, I'm barely touching the skin. Down here, I don't really care. But up here, it's like you're grazing the skin. Okay? And you kind of want to go over that purple right here, just so that it'll blend in a little too. Go in with a little bit more red. We're going to go over that red just a little bit, the way we did with the red and the purple. And that's just going to blend together as well. Gonna do the same thing on this side. Okay, and then it should be something like this. Now we're gonna go into that yellow. Okay, so initially I went in with the hot pink from the Zulu palette, but to me it kind of just blended into the red and you couldn't really tell the difference. So all that I'm gonna be doing is going in with the Infallible concealer, cutting the crease halfway, and then I'm gonna be going in with this shade on the lid. So the shade is the one right next to the hot pink in the Zulu palette. So for those of you that don't know how to cut your crease, it is super easy. All you have to do is place a little bit of concealer on the center of the lid or even the inner corner. So I'm gonna do it on both sides. You literally just look up. And when you look up, the concealer transfers to the top and it gives you kind of a guideline on where you should start your crease. So I'm just adding a little bit more concealer, and then I'm going to be taking a super flat concealer brush, and I'm just going to be creating that line all the way through. Take a regular eyeshadow brush and wet it a little bit. I use the Morphe setting spray just so that the eyeshadow will actually stick to the brush better, and it makes metallic pigments stand out way better. You're just going to place that on any part of the concealer that you just put down. So after you added that pink shimmer shade from the Zulu palette, we're going to go back into that purple, and then we're going to pack on just the slightest bit on the edges. And this is just going to help blend them together. Now we're just going to kind of feather it onto the pink just a little bit so that there's no harsh lines. Taking the Benefit roller liner, if I could find it. Here it is. And then I'm just going to be creating my wing. I'm going to go ahead and do the other eye. So I switched to the Roller Lash Mini. I don't know why. I feel like the bigger one doesn't have as much ink in it as the smaller one does. So I'm just going to be using this one to finish. So now that that's done, I'm going to be using these pearls that I found at Walmart, and they're like 97 cents. They're super cheap and they have a hard time sticking, so I'm actually going to be using this eyelash glue from Kiss. It's the Ienvy 3D Super Strong Hold. So I'm going to be dotting this onto the back of them and then applying them with tweezers. I'm going to be taking these medium-sized pearls, and those are going to be the bigger ones, and then I'm going to be using these tiny ones right here. Yeah, I'm going to be using these tiny ones for those small pearls that I used in between. So I already applied the glue to the pearl, and I'm just going to be sticking it on the line. So I'm just going to go like almost to the very corner of the eye, but not quite. Just gonna press it on, make sure that it's not gonna go anywhere. And you see I kind of did like maybe a whole inch, a whole centimeter, a whole something away from the corner. Okay, going in with the bigger one, I just pull it off with this tweezer and then coat it with a little bit of lash glue. You want to make sure that you don't move them too far and then have to readjust them later, because they are picking up the eyeshadow. So every time you move them, you will have a bald patch if you move it too high and then too low. Okay, so when it's done, it should look something like this. Now we're going to be doing the same thing on the other eye. Okay, so this is what it should look like in the end. And now I'm going to focus on my face. So I'm going to start off by cleaning my face with this Thayers Witch Hazel. It's a toner, and I'm just going to basically be rubbing it all over my face to get rid of any dirt or oils that might be on the skin still. Next, I'm going to go in with my Clinique moisturizer. I'm just going to apply that all over the face. I'm going to be going in with my primer, which I use the Soap and Glory. Anybody who is oily, I definitely recommend this primer. It keeps me matte all day. I only use it in my T-zone, so only keeping this in my T-zone. Just going to go over my nose, a little bit in the center of my forehead, around my mouth, and my smile lines. And then I'm just gonna let that sit for maybe a minute. So the one question I do get asked a lot is, what foundation do I use? Because it lasts all day long, it's super matte, it doesn't look cakey, and it's full coverage. Okay, I have a lot of scarring. Even though I don't have a lot of acne, I have a lot of scarring, and I'm still trying to work on it and get rid of it. But I just have a very sensitive face. So I use this Dermablend Legging Body Makeup. I use the shade 40N, and it's 3.4 ounces. Okay, so a normal, let me see, a normal foundation is 1 fluid ounce. This hand sanitizer is 1.25 fluid ounces. So this is actually a little bit more foundation than the average. But compared, 3.4 fluid ounces in this, and it's only like $34. Okay, so it's super cheap and it lasts forever. Me, I literally wear makeup almost every day, or at least I used to, and this was always my go-to foundation. I probably last almost a year, just this one bottle, maybe even more than a year sometimes, especially right now during quarantine. I'm not really wearing makeup, so it lasts so long, and it is definitely worth the money. Okay, so I definitely recommend this. So all I'm gonna do is dot this all over my face, and you don't need a lot. So I'm gonna take about that amount to start with, and I'm just gonna start blending it out. And you can kind of see it getting rid of all of the marks I had on my cheek. Use the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop concealer, and I'm just gonna go under my eyes, just stay in my T-zone, and kind of just brighten up the area. I don't really need to spot conceal because the foundation was so high coverage, so I just stick to brightening. Then I'm just gonna blend it out again. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm gonna go in with the Kody Airspun loose powder. It's a translucent powder, and I'm just gonna use it to set my under eyes and bake a little bit, and I'm also gonna set the rest of the face as well. So I like to use a little puff to set the under eyes, and I'm just gonna go back in with the sponge, make sure that there's no creasing, and then I'm gonna set right away. And I'm packing on that powder under the eyes so that it will bake. Okay. So I am gonna bring that powder down, kind of create that V shape. Also, if you want to stay matte longer, I'm also gonna pack that around my nose. So when you're setting, you don't want to swirl your brush on your face, because that's actually going to move any of the wet products that you have on your skin. So you want to tap or pat your brush. That way it doesn't move any of the product. So I'm going to be going in with this ColourPop bronzer. It's a matte bronzer. So I'm going to be using this to contour and bronze. And then I'm going to be going in with this Jaclyn Hill / Morphe JH02 face brush. So a weird thing I do is my initial application, I put it on my ears. Reason being is because my ears are a lot lighter than the rest of my face, and when I add contour and blush and highlight and everything, it actually, there's a big difference between my ears and the rest of my skin. So I take the powder on my ear and I just kind of bronze it up a little bit, and then I go right here into my cheekbones, and then over my temple, and then under my jaw. And I kind of get it right here on the actual face, and it just helps blend a little better. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and I'm actually going to go in with the same brush, and I'm going to go under my lip. And this is just going to kind of make it look like my lip is hanging down a little bit and give the appearance that my lip is a little bigger than it actually is. And then I'm actually going to do the tip of my nose as well. And that actually makes it look shorter. So it's going to lift the nose, make it look a little bit shorter. And then I'm going to go in with this Eco Tools brush. I honestly don't know what kind of brush this is. Never mind. It's the angled concealer brush, okay? And it's super flat, but it's got this perfect shape just to get right into your nose. So I'm just going down the bridge of my nose, but I'm actually going to get really close to the center, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. and I'm actually gonna cut off the rest of this. Gonna add a little bit more, and then I'm gonna go down the very edges of my nose because I want to make my nose smaller. I don't like how wide it is, so I'm trying to make it smaller. And then with the rest of the product on the brush, don't get any more, but the rest of the product, I literally just take it all the way up to my eyebrows. That translucent powder, and I'm actually gonna pinch as small as I can, and I'm gonna go down the bridge of my nose, just the parts that I want to highlight. So I'm gonna go in with the Persona Cosmetics Zuma highlighter. This is what it looks like. And I'm actually gonna do it with my fingers. I just dotted it on top of my eyebrows. Now I'm gonna go in right here at the very tip of my cheekbones. And I kind of just pack it on. And then I'm gonna go on my cupid's bow as well. On my chin. And then I kind of just dust off that powder with my finger. And I'm just gonna go in the bridge of my nose right there. But now I'm just gonna take a clean finger and I'm just gonna blend that out a little better. I'm actually gonna go in with this blush from Physicians Formula and Casey Holmes collab. I ended up really loving this, so I depotted it and put it in one of my compacts so that I could take it to travel. There we go. I'm just gonna use a little bit because a little bit does go a long way. And it does smell so good. And I'm just gonna kind of go over the bronzer and the highlight and just marry the two. So now going back into the Zulu palette with the purple shade, I'm gonna be taking a little tiny pencil brush like this, and I'm gonna actually go under the lash line. I'm not gonna go all the way though, I'm just gonna keep it on the very corners, the way that the purple is up here too. Another thing is I like to really smoke out the under lash line. I feel like it just looks a lot better. So now I'm gonna take that red shade from the Festival palette and I'm just gonna go in right next to that purple. Now I'm going in with the orange, and you want to make sure that you're cleaning your brush every time you go in or using a different one. That way your colors aren't mixing together and looking like dirty green water. So I use this mascara from Essence. It's the Lash Princess and it's the non-waterproof. I like this one a lot better because it's easier to get off. But if your eyes do water, my eyes water a lot. So if they do water, the waterproof one is really amazing. So now I'm going to take these lashes. These are 3D Ienvys from Kiss. But I honestly don't know the number. I'm pretty sure this isn't the right number. I just kind of put them wherever I can. Put them on my wall, on my bedpost, on the door. I just put them wherever I can so I can find them later. So don't be fooled by the carton because it's not right. Brow mascara. It's called the Make Me Brow. And it's in Browny brows. Okay, so there is a lot on the brush, so I always go on the back of my hand and kind of wipe it off. And all I'm gonna do is run it through my brows, and this is just gonna help set them in place. And it's also gonna get rid of any powder or any foundation that I might have got on them when I was doing my face, and it's gonna make them look darker. So when I'm done with the brown lip liner, I actually go in with a nude one from LA Girl. It's in Spice and Sugar and Spice. So I'm just literally gonna trace the same lines with this one. And it tones down that brown lip liner, but it still keeps it dark. So you can kind of tell the difference between this side and this side. I have a hard time. I'm gonna actually start doing my lashes before they dry. I apply it with my fingers. I want to make sure that I get the middle first, and then I stick down the corner, and then stick the edge, stick the inner corner on last. And then same thing with this eye. Make sure that I get right in the center, and then the edge, and then I fold the inner corner in. Just like that. And every time I used a traditional lash curler, the little sidebars right here would always cut like part of them out of the curler, and they would come out like all weird and clumpy, and it just wasn't cute. So I found this one at my local beauty supply store. These are Kiss brands. They're like $6, telling you, way better. So I'm just gonna press up against my lashes. That just helps your real lashes and the falsies to stick together. That way you can't tell that there's two different, like, you can't differentiate them. So now I'm gonna take my Physicians Formula liquid lipstick. This is an all natural nude. I honestly don't know if these are discontinued, but if you don't like the feeling of traditional lipsticks, liquid lipsticks, where they're super dry and kind of like cracky, like they dry and they crack, okay? These ones don't do that. They're a little sticky. So if you're uncomfortable with that, you could put a little bit of translucent powder over top, but I actually really like them because they're way more comfortable. So to finish, I just set my face with the Morphe setting spray, and that's it. I hope you guys really like this. I look forward to making more videos in the future. This is my first YouTube video, so I appreciate it if you would like and subscribe and comment down below